What is our second main topic today?
Our second main topic comes to us from Roger Willks. I was 10 years old when the first Indiana Jones came out. My mother always reminds me that I spent the next few years running around the yard, having imaginary adventures with any hat I could find and a piece of string as my whip. I heard you once say that Indiana Jones is the default model of what an adventure film is. And you're right. Seeing the first image of the new film filled me with a joy that's hard to explain. Hopefully with no Tarzan monkeys this time.
All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in, Roger. I mean, look, and who among us, like over the age of, 35, didn't at some point run around pretending their backyard were the deepest, darkest jungles, and that rock over in the corner was an ancient artifact, and that one, little thing going across you, the hose running across your lawn was a unjumpable chasm that you had to get. I mean,
and then we pretended to open our cat's head and eat the brain because it was a monkey.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
my
God.
childhood.
Chilled monkey brains. It's one of the greatest lines ever in movies. And yeah, Indiana Jones. Listen, when you say an action film, you can come up with a lot of films. You say sci-fi, you can have a lot of discussion. But when you say adventure, if you get a room of 100 people and you say, when talking about the movies, what comes to your mind when the word adventure comes up? It's Indiana Jones. That is the gold standard of all things when it comes. Every adventure movie that ever comes out is always immediately compared to Indiana Jones, and for good reason. Anyway, it's Star Wars Celebration. John Williams came out on stage, and this was great watching the video footage of it. John Williams comes out on stage, and he's conducting an orchestra playing the Indiana Jones theme music, and as it ends, Harrison Ford comes walking out on stage, and partly to celebrate John Williams' 90th birthday. And of course, Harrison Ford waxed poetic for a few minutes about how great John Williams is and what a wonderful person he is and all that kind of stuff. Everything like you'd want to hear him say. And then Harrison Ford says something amazing. He goes, "That music has been with me my entire life." At the Indiana Jones theme, even when I went in for my colonoscopy, it was playing in the background with me. It was pretty good. But they brought up an image, the first image of Indiana Jones 5. They brought that up in the room there for everybody to take a look at. And there it is there, which, I mean, look, Harrison Ford, well, happy 90th to John Williams. In very short period of time here, like days, weeks, we're going to be celebrating Harrison Ford's 80th. But I'm telling you what, that picture captures Indiana Jones. Like everything about this image is pure Indiana Jones. And I'm not going to lie to you. As soon as I see that, my thoughts immediately go to the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland, which is my favorite ride at Disneyland is the Indiana Jones ride. But seeing him again in the hat, walking across a rickety bridge and all that kind of stuff. And, he said he's not very forthcoming a lot. Like I've interviewed Harrison Ford a few times and he's usually very reserved, but it's nice to hear him come out on stage and say, look, I am really proud of this film. Which, of course, he's working with a director like James Mangold. Very exciting. They didn't show any footage, which is what I really kind of want to see. But they've got a release date now. It's the 5th release date for it. But I think, was it June something? June 2023. Yeah. So next summer, about a year from now, a little over a year from now, it'll get bumped again to, 2027 or something like that. But I thought the presentation was great. Hearing that music, Harrison Ford on stage, seeing the image, felt great to me. Rob, you had a chance to see it. What the first thing came to your head?
The first thing that came to my head, and I mean this not in a disparaging way at all, I was like, Indy, rattle and hum. Because
it totally has a rattle and hum.
Right, doesn't it? So for those
does.
of you who want, Rattle and Hum was, of course, the Phil Joannou directed U2 concert film.
Yeah, my favorite concert film of all time.
I have to tell you, I saw it in Westwood, and I think Phil Joannou was at the screening. It was the loudest movie I have ever heard. Movies can't be loud enough, but this was the loudest. It was thunderous. But when I saw that picture, that was the first thing that popped into my mind. And I meant it in a good way, because the ad campaign for that had that backlit, silhouetted, Bono.
It was Bono holding the light on a silhouetted edge playing guitar.
Yeah,
I remember it very well.
And so that was the first thing that struck me, because like you, I love that image. I'm like, that is a quintessential Indiana Jones image. And John, I think back, the first time that I saw Indy, back in the early 80s, they would have public previews. So they would show a movie, and then they're like, and if you come, you get a bonus film.
Right.
And when Raiders of the Lost Ark was coming out, even though Spielberg and Lucas made it, if you look at the first trailer, what is this movie about? Like, you're looking at it, no one knew what it was about. Like, it was, are they looking for Noah's Ark? Like, what is it? And the trailer doesn't really do a very good job of conveying what it was. So my friends and I, we had to go see Excalibur again. And they were sitting there wondering, like, what is this movie? Like, how is it going to be? Dude, it was one of those times where you're sitting in the movie theater and you're like, I can't believe what I'm watching. From the opening scene in South America, and you see Indiana Jones crack his whip when the gun comes out. He's backlit and walks into the light. You know, and Alfred Molina's there as Sapito, and that whole opening scene. I mean, now it's so silly.
Throw me the I throw you the whip.
Yeah, everyone knows the scene. But we walked in, it was like me and 6 of my friends not knowing anything. Like, it wasn't like now we'd seen 4 different trailers. We didn't know anything except this weird trailer that didn't tell you much. Like, what does it mean? Dude, it was one of those movies where I kind of feel like maybe seeing Top Gun with you guys, Maverick, felt the same way. I was elated. Like, when that movie was over, I'm like, both Paramount movies. But when you walked out of Raiders, I wanted a hat and a whip.
Yeah.
You know, and it was such a great, I think Raiders of the Lost Ark, I would go so far as to say it's almost a perfect movie.
Yeah.
And I love the franchise. I mean, yeah, you can bag on Kingdom of the Crystal Skull all you want. There's a lot to bag on, but I still love Indiana Jones, dude.
So I just give a little bit more context to the event that happened yesterday. The good folks over at IndieWire wrote the following about it. They said this. They said the first look at Indiana Jones 5 debuted at the 2022 Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim, California, and fans and critics alike are already praising the film's epic adventure as previewed, with Harrison Ford donning his classic wide-brimmed hat and lasso for one final time. It's a whip. It's not a lasso, guys, at IndieWire. Come on.
Yeah.
Ford introduced the first look as John Williams' iconic theme song was performed on stage. That music follows me everywhere, Ford joked during the conversation. It was playing in the operating room when I had my colonoscopy. I passed. Ford confirmed that the installment is almost completed as of May 26th. I'm really proud of this film. The Oscar nominee added. By the way, that image of just John Williams with Harrison Ford.
Oh, yeah.
That's a still image you blow up, you frame, and you put on a wall. Like that's an amazing
There's a lot
image.
of love there.
Yeah, there is. And these guys have worked together for 40 years in multiple franchises. Guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. You know, the one with the delightful ads with good Canadian kid Ryan Reynolds. So look, after years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't a catch. And guys, that's no joke, because for years I've been using one of the major providers and it was fine. But I switched over to Mint Mobile a little while ago. The service has been fantastic. And the big difference is I'm now paying about 1/3 of what I was paying before. And the best part for anybody who just hates their phone bills is that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. All of their plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Anyway, Aaron, we had a chance to see the first image. You heard about the event. Where's your anticipation level like right now for a new Indiana Jones film, and what do you think about the image?
Well, you know, when Rob first brought up the image yesterday, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, that looks like Michael Jackson. And going along, along with the rattle and hum image,
the silhouette.
there is this iconic silhouette of Michael Jackson the first time in 1983, the first time that he ever performed the moonwalk live when he was doing Billie Jean with his classic sequin glove. And so that image...
and he's tipping his hat.
And he's tipping his hat down. So it was like and that's the thing, is there comes over time this repeated iconic imagery, and you know, one can't say, oh, this was taken or stolen, but I think that it's just these little things that remind us, and it weaves together this nostalgia for a certain time period. And the 80s and the 90s are kind of it right now. You know, everything old is new again. And in the 90s, everything was in, you know, the 60s and 70s. And now here we are. I mean, I'm wearing my high-waisted rib cage jeans with the wide, you know, pants. I was like, I never thought I would be wearing these again. Skinny jeans forever. Skinny jeans are gone. It's all about the high waist now. So, you know, I really, there's a beautiful nostalgia that's coming back from that image. It has so many other things that it's reminding me of from that time period. I see that rickety bridge and I immediately think Goonies. You know, of the kids crossing that bridge. And when you talk about gold standards, I think that what came to me when I was looking at the image while you were saying that. And if you look, the ray of light could have been any other hue, but the ray of light is gold. And that those little raindrops that are falling from the earth above, almost, and you can't really see it on this image, but if you look at it close up, they almost look like flecks of gold falling down. And this is such a beautiful way for Harrison Ford to end this incredibly iconic character that is so beloved for so many generations. And for those of us, like you said, of the age of 35 and above, we can now share this with a younger generation who can see. And I really hope that, unlike some of our previous Indiana, Indy sequels, that this really does close out the franchise for Harrison Ford, at least, in a way that will honor the legacy of the original film. And I mean, one of the things that for me as a takeaway is how many times have we seen in a television show or a movie or even in commercials a door closing and there's a hat on the ground and somebody's got to reach in and grab that hat and pull it out. That is one of the most repeated moments that we all just know, oh, that's from Indy. That's that grabbing the hat before that wall comes down. That hat is so important. And I just love that the hat and his not lasso, but whip, lasso, come on, guys. I just love that they're really paying tribute to those iconic images.
And it's funny, speaking of that, Aaron, and save your thoughts on cats, John. We actually named one of my cats Indy because when she was so young, she had a habit of every time we were about to close the door, she'd just dart right through and just make it through the closing door. So we're calling her Indy.
That's why cats are just the best animals ever, and John Campea is a monster.
Yeah, cats. Hey, listen, eventually you run out of firewood. So anyway, guys, question is for you.
Oh my God.
Boy.
What do you think about the new image for Indiana Jones 5 now coming out June 2023? Are you excited? Listen, I'll tell you what. I have had no excitement for this project yet because there's still a part of me that doesn't believe it's real.
Right.
After yesterday, I'm starting to feel it a bit. How are you guys feeling about it? Whatever you think, jump down to the comment section below and leave us your thoughts.